Welcome back to the workshop. I had talked about doing a scrap project. I'm in the process of designing that scrap project. I've got some of the pieces cut for that. And the next thing to decide upon is how I'm going to do the joinery of the carcass itself. Of course, there'll be other stuff that I do for the inside, but what am I going to do for the initial carcass? And I have done carcasses like this before, so let's see. This is what it will look like. This is the height allowance. I did make these ends taller so they can now do a little more, store a little more, that kind of thing. But how am I going to hold this all together? Do I use butt joints? Do I use dovetails? Or do I do something else? I'm going to look at some of the other ones I've done and kind of see what we might want to do. For a while, I had been doing a basic dovetail design through dovetails. This is the chest of drawers. This is the Dutch chest. They were all kind of based on the Dutch chest. The idea that you put the dovetails, you have tails on this end and your pins on this end. And then for the base, it's the same thing. Tails and pins. And for the chest of drawers, again, tails, pins. And so that's a simple way that I had done for several years. Especially plain case that I built in 2018, also dovetails on all the corners, plywood on this end, plywood on this end, opens in the middle. For the apothecary, I have dovetails, tails on this end, attached to pins on the bottom, but at the top I had these strips along the front and the back that attached here with some supplementary dowels as well. The top is different and not part of this construction. A Parthenon is held together with butt joints that are reinforced with dowels that kind of go through from these pieces into this bigger piece. Puzzle box 4 uses dovetails, complete dovetails all the way around because it was made of mahogany and I wanted to do it that way. And then puzzle box 3 is all butt joints. Butt joints is what holds the poplar around on all sides. Other parts are, of course, movable. So this is the book that I bought at the Museum of Early Southern Decorative Arts at Old Salem and Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Furniture in the Southern Style. And what it has inside is drawings of different pieces of furniture that you can build if you want to, but shows the construction of those different pieces. And I found it very fascinating. Of particular interest for this project is this lady's desk. Lady's desk built in between 1795 and 1805 in Wilmington, North Carolina, of mahogany, yellow pine, and poplar. But if you look at the way it's constructed, it employs hidden dovetails. And there's a closer look at that on this page. And so the hidden dovetails, you got your tails down here and your pins up there. It comes together in such a way that you can't see the dovetails. And so I've never done anything like this before. I've done half hidden, but I've never done full hidden. So I'm going to give that a try for this project. This is not to be confused with the miter joint dovetails that you see a lot. There's several videos on how to do that. This appears not to be the same way because some of the construction for the miter dovetail does not seem to match what they have here. And even in the in here where they talk about the joinery, the hidden dovetail joints at the upper corners of the top section are a challenging detail. A reminder that today's attitudes about joinery were not shared by our ancestors. So for this project, at least at the top, I'm going to give that a try. Some other items in this book that have been used in some of my projects include this desk and bookcase from Salem, North Carolina. I used this when I built the little desk and bookcase that is located inside the apothecary. If you had seen that video, you remember there's a little desk and bookcase. I used some of these pictures and measurements to kind of do a scale replica of that. Not exact, but it helped in what I was building. The other one the pinwheel cabinet. The pinwheel cabinet is one that I have thought about doing for several years. This was built between 1780 and 1790 in the Catawba River Valley of North Carolina, of walnut, yellow pine, and maple. This has been on view at Mazda many times over many years, and it's also featured on the front cover, so very nice. But there's a lot of stuff involved. You have to make an arch, you have to do the pinwheel, in addition to some molding, the drawers. I spent some time with this several years ago and took some more detailed photos that you can see here, both with it closed but also with the door open so I could see the drawers, because on display you never see the drawers. You just see them here in this picture because none of the other pictures show that. So that's something that I might do in the future. I don't know. I've thought about doing it in a puzzle creation type of way, but I think I'm going to have to just build it as is. There's a lot of challenges to it, and to add puzzle pieces to it or puzzle, secret drawers and all that may be kind of difficult. So maybe someday in the future, but for now, let's get back to our project. So I've gone ahead and made the joint using some scrap wood, some scrap pine, using one dovetail, 2 pins. I like the way it came out. So the one end you've got your dovetail and room for your pins, and then you've got this strip over top of about 1/4 inch. And then on the other one you've got the same strip 1/4 inch, but you've got your pins and your tail. And the two sit very simply together like this. And I still achieve my 90 degrees as I need it, and it's a good, clean, blind joint. So, got the piece here and the piece here. You don't see any dovetails. Imagine this being longer, of course. You don't see any dovetail activity. You see the edge of this piece here, but that's no big deal. It would have been the same way on the lady's desk. So going from that, I have gone ahead and started making the edge of the top end of one of the two sides of the puzzle cabinet 4. This is the proper right side, which for some of you would be the left side of the cabinet, and for others it will be the proper right. And that's a museum term and a woodworking term that some people use. So the difference here between this and, say, some other types of dovetails is, remember that on a lot of dovetails it goes up and out going up the board. In this one, they actually go, in this one, goes up and out horizontally instead of vertically. So that's the main thing. And when I started making my scrap, I got that a little mixed up and had to cut the end off and start over. It's a mindset that you have to change around from what you're maybe used to. So I've gone ahead, I've started this, I'll continue this, and I think what I'll do is I might do another video when I go to do the other end, the other side, to show how that's done for anyone who is interested. For the bottom, I might do this, or I might do through dovetails and then use material like this and maybe some of my molding planes to make sort of a more patterned edge, because that's another thing I haven't done and have been wanting to do, is put some molding or some trim on the side of some of my cabinets, and this would be a good time to do that. The molding or trim will hide the dovetails, and so I won't have to go through this for the bottom. I can just do through dovetails and then put something in front of it that'll hide it, something decorative. So we'll see how this project goes. Stay tuned.